All right, 1, 2, 3. Hi. Okay, yeah.
Wait,
Thanks,
I'm not
Ari.
ready.
I know.
Motherfucker.
Well, now we're waiting for you.
Well, what's new?
So anyway, since we messed that up, welcome to another episode of Be Uplifted. And she missed that one too. Wow.
I was putting it on. Hold on. Okay, 1, 2, 3.
Hi.
Welcome to another episode of Be Uplifted.
Pew, pew, pew.
Do you guys have
All
a
right,
gang
you
sign
guys.
for that?
What?
Yeah.
Do you have a gang sign for that?
Yeah, it's like. No, I'm just kidding. I don't know.
I get the gold mic today.
Is my
Yep.
hair fixed?
Somebody peed on Rich's mic.
My hair out, please. Okay.
Got the shower mic.
All right.
The
so
shower mic. Okay, so
What is in
today
that white bag?
the
Somebody should
mystery
hand
white
that.
bag. Hand the mystery bag with no
raffle time.
gunja.
Nope, definitely not raffling that off.
All right, friends. So today we have a topic that our lovely co-host here, Vince, is going to start off because we were talking in back and the subject came up and he said, I have a lot of shit to say about that.
Wait,
Yeah.
we're talking. Where's the back? If we're
So-
talking.
Behind us
Yeah.
Yeah.
in the green room. Is that what we call it?
The back front.
The back front. Yeah.
Front back.
Yeah, in the green room where the guests.
The green room.
Yep.
Yeah. Okay, let them know, Vince.
All right. So this is about the sexual noises that women make when they're getting paid.
What?
We're talking about hormones.
Oh.
That's right. So
Oh yeah.
hormones are stupid. End of episode.
So when you say that, elaborate. So do you believe? Okay, let's start here.
This is the thing. I found that girls really disrespect their significant other because they blame a lot of things on hormones. So here's an example, right? If they're acting bitchy or if they're acting like a certain way and they're blaming, the time of the month or whatever, it's like, yeah, but you also keep your composure at work. So how is it that you're respecting me the same as your boss?
Okay.
Because why do I have to?
Because
I'm at work. I'm getting paid.
yeah, but if you're
But it's not like that either because you're at work.
but the
upset
fact is
too.
but the fact is you can control it.
Okay.
And why do you choose to control it at work but not at home?
Probably the same reason that a man doesn't take off on his boss, but he'll like take off on his children at home because there's a comfortability level.
Hey, let's just be clear. My daughter deserves to get kicked down those
Dang.
stairs.
I think now we can end the episode.
I know, right?
No, but
And cut.
And we're
cut.
done. Bye.
no, because okay, like let's say in a relationship situation, if I'm having a bad day at work or whatever, I'm not gonna go home and take it out on my family.
That's not true.
Well, you've never been in my home.
Okay, maybe you won't, but
Men do.
Men
She's saying
do.
generally speaking, just because like
Yeah, just
same,
like there's
same as not all women come home and be a bitch, So.
yeah, but
Right.
it's more often that I've seen it where a woman can be a bitch just because of that. But then at the same time, she's also like not a bitch in front of like her professional, like boss or whatever. You know what I mean?
I also feel that part of the reason, okay, let's take accountability as women, right? Yes, there are times where we're probably a little bit too much and we fucking,
Wait, hold on. You're taking accountability as well. I'm just.
motherfucker, don't get slapped later. No, I'm just kidding. I'm just kidding. No, like accountability is like, yes, us as women, there is a comfortability level that we have to take accountability for where it's like, okay, we're at home, so we're more comfortable acting some type of way, acting ourselves. But generally speaking, that's all people. Children will act crazier at home
Right.
because that is their safe place. It doesn't excuse the behavior necessarily, but I think there's a psychological aspect there where there's just a different way that you act. Like you act professionally as a human at work, and even you as men, you don't act the same at work than maybe you because you have the luxury
You
of
are
the
who you are,
profession,
yeah.
of like being yourself as a DJ, a photographer. But in like say corporate world, you can't be the same person to a customer as you are at home. You know what I mean? So
Right.
there is like a psychological aspect to it of like, okay, well, duh. Like I know how to act when I'm at the club. I know how to act when I'm at the restaurant. I know how to act when I'm at home with my man.
But here's the disconnect is the fact that I maintain control. throughout. You know, like when I go home, like, yeah, let's say if I have a significant other, if I go home and I talk to her and stuff like that, yeah, I'm gonna be a little bit more sarcastic. I'm gonna be like a little bit more playful and a little bit more free with what I'm saying. But at the same time, I'm in control of that. Whereas like I've seen a lot of you know, like I'm not trying to pick on girls. Of course I am, but I'm not trying to pick on girls. But then a lot of times girls will use that cop out like, oh, it's that time of the month. And it's like, why is it that you can blame your hormones for the way that you act, but then for one, you don't take accountability, and two, you don't understand that guys have that same problem too. Like when they say, I wish you would stop objectifying me. Okay, well, why are your titties out? And those are our hormones being attracted to your voluptuous ass and titties. You know what I'm saying? Okay. So it's like you shame us for acting on our hormones, and you also don't take accountability for the way that you act on yours.
Well, in that same way, say you go home, right, and you're oohing and ahhing at your girl because she has her tits out.
Yeah.
In a professional manner, you would hold back even if you felt that way in the office, correct? So it's the same thing. Like,
but I have the control over that.
No,
whereas
not in my workplace.
Well, yeah, but the thing is that I have the control over that, and I take the accountability too.
The consequences are different.
And I also feel that because women are emotional beings, so this is another accountability thing that I'm going to take is our triggers are completely different. You know, a boss that is annoying, you can't really do nothing about that, right? Like you're still feeling upset like you are at home, right. But I'm not about to fucking cuss my boss out because I'm going to fucking lose my job, you know, and then that's the domino effect. At home, you're triggering me because you forgot to take the trash out for the 6th time. I'm going to fucking be a bitch because my hormones are out of whack and tell you like, what the fuck, you know, because you probably would do that to me if I fucked up at home too, as a man, you know?
I hate to say it like this, but I kind of blame you for that, because if you have a boss that sucks, I know that in the grand scheme of things, like women tend to be a little bit more passive than men are. If my boss sucked, I would tell his boss. You know, I'm not just gonna be like, oh, that's how it is. So, you know, like you can take accountability and you can do something about that, but then you don't have to be a bitch back to them. So
your problem is essentially not that you don't believe that the hormones exist; it's the way that the woman.
As an excuse.
Yeah, I think that it's not an even playing field. You know, because again, it's one of those things. It's like, okay, you can say, oh, it's that time of the month for me. You know how I get snappy, blah blah blah. But at the same time, it's like if I'm being visually attracted to something because of my hormones, and I'm you know looking at something that you're putting on display, now I'm being shamed for it.
Okay, so Ackright, Queer Rich, any thoughts on anything that either one of us are saying?
You know, I mean, to set aside the hormonal imbalance during, let's say, your period, you know, with the estrogen and the progesterone that kind of happens during that ovulation cycle.
And the serotonin.
Yeah, exactly. Let's set that aside.
That's the biggest portion of it.
That's the biggest one.
Yeah.
That's the one that makes you moody.
Yeah, so the thing for me is that a lot of what I'm hearing is like this like, I've watched too much red pill shit on fucking YouTube. Because for me, personally, your wife comes home and she's holding that stuff back, but sometimes you can be just the pillar that she can just scream at because you are there to be that support.
Yeah.
You can't look at it as though like I'm getting yelled at. You're looking at it as though no matter how strong she is, if she has something to get off her chest, sometimes you have to be that one to kind of salvage all that. You know, it's not necessarily
say that, Queer Rich. Go ahead.
Yeah, but it's not necessarily about like who's wrong or who's right. It's about like, we hold everything in at the job because you know why? We have fucking responsibilities. We gotta pay bills. Like, there's a lot of us that go to work every day and go, "Fuck, I don't want to be here," but we're there because guess what? We have to pay the bills. But if I'm supposed to be the man in the house, I want to be the shelter. I want to be that pillar that you can lean on when you can't handle shit, no matter how quote unquote strong of a woman you are, right? And sometimes it just, again, you're dealing with those hormones. Yeah, it might be a cop out to some degree, like how you look at it, but it's very true.
It's real.
Very real, right? But that's what I'm saying. It's like, for me, sometimes it's not about like this side or that side. It's like, be the guy in the relationship to stand there and be the pillar.
Yeah, see, I don't deny that. I think that a guy should be the pillar, but then at the same time, the girl should be there for support for the guy too.
I think
My thing is that, like, it's just the whole, like, why can't you ease me into it, you know, or why do you have to just be so super snappy with me, you know? The same hormones that were triggering you earlier didn't make you do that to other people.
Well, one of the things you also have to learn about, like a woman with hormones, it's not necessarily a period, right? It could be when they're pregnant.
Yeah.
It could be when there's just a hormone.
Shout out to Lonnie.
Or hormonal imbalance because they're suffering from like hypothyroidism. You know, there's like different things that would affect your hormones. It's
Mercury,
not just
Gatorade.
Mercury, Gatorade. Yeah, you know, whatever. It's not just the period, but it's not going to always be even. Like, yes, I'll have my period for 7 days, but the spike in the hormone is not always.
It
fluctuates.
Yeah.
So maybe it fluctuates more in the evening, or maybe it fluctuates more in the afternoon. You know what I mean? So that's also another factor to kind of explain that. Like, I'm not saying that it's an excuse, because I understand what you're saying. Like, she should take some accountability and maybe not necessarily snap only at you, but that's the assumption that she is only snapping at you, though. You know what I mean? Like,
but then we have to think about, like, even though we have, you know, we're snapping and all this other stuff, we still have common sense.
Yeah.
And we know, like, if we're at work and we snap on our boss or somebody, there's a consequence to that.
Definitely.
So then when we come home, if we snap on you, the consequence is better than me losing my job. The consequence, we might get in an argument, we might fight, but the next day we're going to be cool. I will take that consequence over me losing my job.
Yeah.
So
Man, snap back.
I'm going to, you know, argue with you. I'm going to let it out. Like he said, I'm going to let it out on you. I need to let it out on somebody, because I've been all day upset and it's, you know, in my system. I need to get it out. So yeah, it just so happens, you know what, let me tell you this and this, and you didn't do nothing to me all day. And I kid you not, with hormones, it's like that. One day you're fine, the next day you're crying, the next day you're just like, I'm so sorry. I don't know what was going on, but now I know.
Yeah,
I started my period today.
Right? What are your thoughts, babe? Because you have 3 girls that all are on their cycles, and then obviously me, I've been pregnant multiple times, and you've seen, you know.
She pregnant now. No, just kidding.
You know, just like.
Wait, what? No, just kidding.
He's all, whose is it? No, I'm just kidding.
Right?
No, I mean, it's just, they're just going to happen.
Yeah.
Like, I don't know. To me, like, I just kind of know that that's something that I'm going to deal with. And so, like, you just roll with the punches.
So, do you believe that?
And
it's
you know what? That's not really
though?
Fair. When you say it like that, like, dang, man,
Yeah.
that's not really fair. I get what you're saying. It's not fair to men that they have to roll with the punches because we're going through this. It's more of a understanding thing.
Yeah.
You know what I mean? I feel I know with me myself, when that happens, like with my ex, I was like, you know what? I don't think I could talk to you today because I'm going to be rude. And then later I was like, okay, you know, like, I started my period. I feel better now. Like, we could talk. We can. So that way I'm not taking stuff out on you. Like, I can't talk to you today.
So
you know what I mean?
that's-
Otherwise, I'm going to be upset. If you want to deal with me upset, cool. That's your choice.
That-
but this is, so it's unfair to be like, oh, you have to
You
roll
have to,
with the
yeah.
punches, because you shouldn't have to. I think we as women do need to be a little bit more understanding that they're like, dang, like, I didn't even do nothing. I just have to sit here and take it. Like, you know.
I think that's where communication comes into play, because like, he knows, like, I'll tell him, I'll be like, babe, I'm fucking exhausted and I'm irritable as fuck for no reason right now. And he'll be like, oh, it's that time. And I'm like, yeah. He's like, all right, I'm gonna keep a distance then.
Right.
Well, that's also why I brought this up, is like, I'm not here saying, oh, this should be a topic because we're going to solve it. No, far from that.
Yeah.
I just want there to be like an awareness of it. It's like, yo, we put up with a lot of shit. Can you guys at least understand? You don't have to agree with it. Just understand where we're coming from. So the same hormones and attitude and everything that you're giving to us, remember, we have to take it in. We have to
Internally.
Yeah, we have to
Internalize it,
internalize it. We have to deal with it. So just when we're respecting the process that you have to go through for your hormones or for the way that your feelings are, understand that there's a process that we have to go through also. So just be fair to us, you know.
Yeah.
And then, just Jasmine says, it's unfair, but but the thing is, like, we don't understand, like, because we're not going through it.
Yeah.
Sometimes when we say we just roll with the punches, that's our way of understanding.
Yeah.
Right. We can't explain it. We don't feel it. It just happens, and it's almost like we just roll with the punches. Also because it's not every month the same thing.
Yeah.
Right.
No,
There's some good
It's
months,
always,
some bad
Right,
months. And so
exactly.
it's not always going to be always like,
Here it goes.
Here
The
we
fucking
go.
bomb's about to go
Yeah, but
off.
there's some
Yeah.
which is like,
Yeah.
we've gone like 2 months without you blowing up. You know what I'm saying? But
Yeah.
so sometimes we just really just roll with the punches because mentally, I can't comprehend, the hormonal imbalance and the pH levels and all that other stuff that's happening. I don't go through it.
Yeah.
So
Yeah. And it's very real, right? Because that's like there's a science behind it. It's not just women choosing like, oh, it's that time. I guess I have a green pass to be a bitch. It's literally like
Although
the
I would
dopamine
say
levels.
some people do that, but
Yo, no,
I
sure.
mean, they sure, they
Yeah.
for sure do. But
some people
There's
put
a science
dubs on
behind it.
but-
So
Yeah.
so in this, it just seems fair that we just have to be more understanding of each other, correct?
Right.
Yes.
Absolutely.
So when it is like the hormone imbalance or chemical imbalance and stuff like that, we should be a little bit more accepting. Now, on the flip side, is it now? Do you understand why we look at titties so much?
No.
Because that your
See?
hormones tell you to.
Yeah.
No, so this is a real thing, actually. So the same hormone that women have during their cycle, well, we all have it. It's called serotonin.
Right.
So that regulates our moods, depression, anxiety, all this
Right.
other stuff. In guys, it actually helps with their sexual desire. So it's same thing with estrogen. So I believe it's the more they have, the higher the desire or something like that. So I get it. But
Yeah.
you're not going to go out and be like, ooh, titties, it was my hormones, sorry.
Yeah, exactly. But we take accountability for that. We don't say that. But
But
when
what I'm
when
saying-
we're walking around and then like some fine ass girl walks by and we catch a glance, we don't purposely do that. But then we go like, oh, and then like next thing you know, when you look this way, you're looking at that girl, you turn back and your girl's looking at me like this. See?
Okay, so I'm actually gonna have to side with Vince on this one. Me and Ackright
I
were
feel like
having.
that's all situational.
Yeah, well, we had this talk the other day. I said to me, as a woman, and maybe this is not the popular opinion amongst women, but I am, everyone always asks me, you're okay with Ackright being at a strip club? You're okay with Ackright being a DJ, et cetera, et cetera. You're okay with Ackright talking to the dancers? And I'm like, here, at the end of the day, to me, it is super unrealistic for a woman to expect a man not to look.
Yeah.
Because like you said, it is in your nature, it is in your genes to go, oh shit, look at those voluptuous tits.
Yeah.
You know what I mean?
Voluptuous bosom.
Now, where the control factor comes in, just like you're looking for with work and girls and their periods, that's what us women is like, okay, there's one thing to glance and there's another thing to just be disrespectful and being
Like I'm not going to
damn,
change
check
my
out-
wallpaper to that chick.
Right,
You know what I'm
right,
saying?
Yeah, exactly.
But
okay, so same
yeah.
page. Yeah.
Yeah, like I have control,
Stream
but
Deck
then at the same time,
wallpaper.
what's up?
Your Stream Deck wallpaper.
Oh yeah.
He's like, click.
Right.
No, but I'm saying like we just have to have an understanding, and let's find equality in each other. You know what I'm saying?
I think one thing that women and men need to really truly understand, which I think we're really good about here, is men are wired a certain way and women are wired a certain way. And there's no changing it at the end of the day. Like, even with, and I hope I don't get canceled for this, but even with, like, say, sex changes, right? Like, people are becoming, men are becoming women are becoming men. At the end of the day, you can't change that specific wire that you were wired in your brain. Like, no matter how many hormone pills or, like transitioning pills you can take estrogen, you could take this and that, but your brain is still wired a certain way. Your body chemistry is still wired a certain way. So I don't think men or women are ever going to come to a complete understanding, and that's what we have to be understanding about is that. You have nothing to say? You were like, I got so much to say about this one, babe.
I mean, well,
He was like, the science when we were talking.
the
like,
preface seemed like a lot like the way
It
that
seemed a lot
yeah,
different.
the way that Vince is explaining it. like it seemed.
Wait, what did you think I was talking about? Like whores moaning?
No.
Like I guess
Because I'm down to talk about that.
I think it sounded like you were like, I don't believe that the hormones thing is an actual thing. That's what it sounded like.
That's
before.
that's how it came
Like
off.
it was a cop out.
Yeah.
I didn't know that I sounded like that.
That it sounded like a cop out,
Yeah.
and less more like a behavior thing.
Well,
like you're
well,
saying.
sometimes. Oh, okay, so let's talk about that. Sometimes women do use that. Sometimes men use that too, because there's that whole like, well, I'm a guy, ain't I? Yeah, that's a cop out. That's fucked up. You shouldn't be doing that.
Okay.
You know, I believe it on both sides.
Okay.
Is that what you guys thought I was talking about?
No. No.
Go ahead, Jasmine.
I thought you were trying to say that women and their hormones basically like it wasn't real. Like them PMSing isn't real. Their postpartum isn't real. That's what I thought you were referring to.
Yeah, because I think we were like, what do you mean? Postpartum depression is a fucking real
No.
thing.
I think that that's real. I don't.
Okay.
Yeah, because I was ready. I was like, hold on.
I was like, wow. You know what's not real?
was like,
Astrology.
I got
Come at me at that. Fuck.
I'm going to actually bring people on that are very educated because I want to see what you guys have to say to each other. I already have people lined up for this.
I'm down
Strawberry
for that.
Gatorade.
Yeah.
I am down for that.
Yeah.
Yeah. Put your mercury in the microwave. I'm ready for that shit.
You want to know what's funny? All three of you are Scorpios, and you guys are like all people that. It's funny because I always said that. I'm like, I don't know if that's a thing, but every person that I've ever like really gotten along with, my son,
Scorpios?
they're all Scorpios. I'm like, what the fuck? That's weird.
Because we're the best sign.
That's right. We got a stinger.
Do you want to know why there's so many of us?
Why?
Because of Valentine's
Day.
And
which
it's
is
coming up. So
Yep.
there's going to be many more of us.
Yeah.
Yep.
So if
It's
I'm
reproductive season for us. God damn it.
Yes.
I'm taking orders. We're the gift when daddy gives mommy.
Ladies, have you seen my daughter? I have those genes.
Dude, she's beautiful.
Yep.
That's why he says that.
You
'cause
wanna
his
make-
daughter
I
is
was
beautiful.
like,
Yeah.
wait,
Yeah.
what?
Yeah.
That went, okay.
No,
Yeah, she's beautiful. That's why.
Have you
she's
seen my
smart
daughter?
too. Woo.
And she can sing. Oh my gosh, that's
see?
too much
It's
good
a triple
stuff.
threat. And you
Okay.
get to deal with my dumb ass.
So
She didn't get none of your genes, I guess.
we'll also be putting their numbers down so you guys can call them on
Oh,
Valentine's.
you can find me on.
All the social media.
All the social media.
You can buy my nudes too.
Oh my god.
Subscribe to Wee Dicky. You could see his Wee Dicky.
Valentine's Day is on a Tuesday this year too.
It is.
Oh, shit.
Oh,
Day
shit.
Tuesday.
First
dinner.
date. Oh, what's up?
I got steaks for y'all this
Yep.
All right, I got to reel it back in, guys.
week.
Okay. Yeah. Let's come
Okay.
back.
So, when we talk about hormones, I always have to end it like that. Like, boys, from the boys' perspective, what do you want women, what would help you to understand it better? Obviously, there's no fully understanding it, but is there like a way, like Vince earlier said, I want you to ease me into it. I know Ackright, he prefers that me give him like a warning, like, hey, I feel like shit today. I'm about to be a bitch if you fuck with me. You know, like
Well,
he appreciates the
helps.
warning.
Yeah.
I would say read a fucking book. Get off of YouTube or some shit. Read something.
Is this to the guys?
Yeah.
Okay.
Like learn something. Like learn about like hormonal imbalance, balance, whatever, just to get a fair understanding of what it is. And as soon as you understand that, it's easier to go, oh, I get it, and move on.
Yeah.
You know, but
I mean, that's true.
A lot of these guys would spend more time trying to figure out how they're the fucking victims. You know what I mean? Trying to flip it around and, I'm against feminists or blah, blah, blah. You know, fuck that. Fuck YouTube. Read a fucking book. Read a medical
Except
journal.
for our channel, okay?
Right?
You know, you can listen to us though.
Yeah.
But I'm saying it's like a lot of times we spend more time trying to figure out like
The
who's
answer to
who's
make us
against
right.
who,
Yeah.
and then trying to figure out like I'm the fucking victim. No, fucking hormones are real. You know, like even when you say like men and women, we both have the same amount of testosterone. It's just that women have more estrogen that makes them women, right?
Right, exactly.
So, like you learn shit like that, and it's easier for you to understand what's going on in this world and how you can interact with people. But if you
Even-
don't, then you just spend go ahead and spend your time blaming your divorce on the fact that your wife had a fucking period
Yeah.
instead of figuring out why you guys were fucking really divorced.
Right. That part. Okay, he dropped the mic on all of us right now.
Yeah. Right.
How about you, Vince?
Well, I'm
This-
really interested in trying to find a way to blame the period for the divorce. No, I just found a new angle for this shit. Ooh, I can't wait for my next divorce. Woo!
You said my next.
My
divorce.
next divorce.
Like,
I didn't even know you were gonna get married again. That's the thing.
It's
oh yeah, it's gonna be a complete joke.
Wait, you
But
were
see,
married?
I'm gonna get married in Vegas because if I don't want to pay for a divorce, I'll just leave because I'm only married in Vegas.
Oh, that's
There you go.
okay.
It's
Yeah.
his reason for abolishment said just put a period.
Yep.
Reason. Period.
No. Well, okay. So what would help us out is if a girl would just tell me, I just want to vent.
Okay.
If with how many words is that? I just want to vent. If you can tell me those 5 words, it would put my mind in a different state, and I'll.
Then
be
you don't
mo-
feel attacked.
Yeah,
basically.
exactly.
Okay.
Oh,
Like,
I have a question for that though. Like
Okay.
I get it, but
wait, did I count it right?
yeah, no, yeah, yeah.
Okay.
No, but at that state, are they mentally able to reel it in like that? Because if they did, they wouldn't vent to you. Period.
in the first place.
No, it's very simple to do. Yeah, I
I
don't know
don't
what
think
it's like to be a
A
woman.
vent is a vent. It's like an instantaneous action, right?
Yeah.
But
And
if,
then after it's all said and done, they were like,
yeah.
Damn.
I just needed
So
to
so
vent.
if she if they were able to reel it in like that prior, will they even vent? You know what I'm saying? Look, I need to vent.
Yeah, that's a good
at
point.
that point, if you're already like cognizant of the fact that you need to vent, maybe you're not gonna vent.
That's
what I'm
actually
asking.
very, very
Well,
true
no,
because there's been a couple times that I've taken off on Act right? And like he like I'm going off, and then after the fact, I'm like,
Yeah.
I'm sorry, that was totally I overreacted.
Yeah,
My bad.
yeah.
You know, like
See,
so you're right.
key word, overreacted.
So is part of what you want is also them admitting that after the fact? Would that make you feel better?
Yeah, it would make me feel better if if they didn't say it to begin with. Yeah, like trust me.
mean?
Okay, so there's 2 ways. Like if you vent and then you feel better and then you're like more conscious or you're not seeing red anymore, then you can be like, oh, babe, I'm sorry. I
Right.
just needed to vent. I feel a lot better now. Thanks for listening. Still not as good as honey, I need to vent, because us as guys, or at least me as I think because I'm a guy, if you come up to me starting to vent and stuff like that, I'm gonna start thinking of solutions as opposed to trying to be there empathetically for you.
But like what Rich says, what if we're not even in a mind frame to even know that we're venting? We're just fucking reacting on this like
Then understand the fact that without that warning,
you might
that
react.
I'm going to react in a way that I'm built to do, which is fix things.
okay, but are you being fair? Okay, so let's say, because earlier you said that we don't take accountability, but technically if afterwards we say, I'm sorry, I just needed to vent, I was this, we're taking accountability at that
Not
point.
necessarily, kind of better than not, but not necessarily, because you can.
Because we could just, lay it all out on you and be like, all right, whatever, bye. But now we're like, you know what?
I was wrong.
Sorry, I was wrong. I was going through this, but so that doesn't appease you either.
But understand that there's a better way to do things. You know what I'm saying?
Yeah, but you're thinking like a man.
like she's logically can
Logically,
do that.
yeah,
But when
okay,
you're
yeah,
in
no.
and out-
Let's just put that in there. I'm thinking logically.
right, but that's the thing when you're
A
being
relationship is psychological. One person's psycho, the other person's logical.
yeah, but if you're that's the thing, hormones don't
This
make you
guy.
logical, right? Do you have science on that at all, Kuya? Where he's saying like you should be logical and like talk before, but that's the thing about hormones is it makes you illogical sometimes. Like
Yeah, yeah.
I mean,
No,
it's called a vent for a reason.
Yeah.
It's not something like it's not a slow roll to a vent.
right.
Yeah.
Right. It just you vent, and it's like it's like these triggers. So like you didn't fucking take the trash out again. It's not like I need to vent. You didn't take the trash out again. It's like
Yeah.
That's
Right.
true.
by the time you get there, it's already a calming
You're already
thing.
fed up.
But what I'm saying is that there's a better way to do things. Yeah, like it's probably going to be
So what is the better way if we can't help that it's gonna just happen? What's the better way?
if you can't help that it's going to happen, there's no better way because you're only going to have one way. So go ahead and do that. But if you do that and then you do come to your senses later on, then just say, I'm sorry, I was trying to vent. Or at least
what we were
catch
saying.
us when we're trying to fix it. Like if you say, oh, this bitch at work, blah, blah, and then I tell you, I'll just fucking slash her tires. And then it's like, babe, I just need to vent. I don't want anything to happen. Catch us in that. But don't just keep going on with the argument. Yeah, I understand that that's what you were saying.
But is it always like that though? I mean, is it like always like every single month like that kind of venting, or is it or you know what I'm saying? Like,
Remember who I dated?
Yeah, but I'm
You-
saying.
it was-
That's who hurt.
yeah.
Right, because I'm
Hey,
sitting here
I was trying to get there.
No, I was like,
Slowly.
that's a special case. That's why.
No, because I mean, it's like when you say, like the way you describe things, it's like such extremes.
Yeah.
and it's almost like
But they
like,
happen to me.
Yeah,
That's why.
But it's
That's
not.
why he
it's
feels
not
the way
only,
he
like the
feels.
way you describe it. It's not toxic. It's nuclear.
Right.
You know what I mean? Like
yeah.
like
I'm
for me,
so good at toxicity. So good.
like for me, like all my experiences, like yeah, there's some months where it's just like, bro, that shit kind of hit. You know what I'm saying? Like that kind of hit hard. And there's some months where it's like, oh, I get it. Yeah. Then you just do what you got to do.
What about this? What if you know she's on her period, or like say she just had a baby? Because it's not always just the period, like we said, right? And you're aware that her hormones are not that of its normal state, and she does that. You're not able to just know.
Oh,
like,
no,
But the problem
Yeah.
with that, sorry, not to cut you off. The problem with that is a lot of times women, like for me personally, my symptoms don't happen during my period. They happen before my period.
Yeah, you have the
So
premenstrual.
It's
Yeah.
like I don't. At that point, I'm like, damn. I'm thinking to myself, what's wrong with me? Like,
That's definitely
you know what
happened
I
to
mean?
me. That's a good
I'm
point.
sitting here
That's a
like,
good
why
point.
am I so
Yeah.
upset right now?
Why did I cry at
this
the fucking Charmin commercial?
Yeah, so I've been crying a
Well-
lot lately, and then I was like, oh, okay, I know why.
And then
now.
that's why.
And then that's
I
why.
thought
But
it was
you
a sensitive
sometimes- right. Sometimes you don't know because, I mean, if you keep track of, your period, then you probably do know, okay, around this time this is going to happen. But some people have irregular
I don't.
periods.
I
They
don't keep track
know.
ever.
But see,
Yeah.
that's also
Yeah.
why I always like I'm diabetic, and I do my best to keep on point with my diet. But I always have chocolate. You know what I'm saying?
Yeah.
And then like if I know that there is going to be something, I'm aware of these things, and I'll put my ego to the side, and I'll cater to my woman until until she doesn't need me. You know what I'm saying? So yeah, like there's accountability that I take as well. But like as much as I am understanding, I just wish that girls would be understanding too. That's all I'm saying.
I think you just need to find a girl that's understanding. I
Yeah.
think that's the
didn't-
problem
I don't
here.
no the thing is that
I didn't
don't
understand the
I don't think
correlation.
that I need to find a girl. I don't know why people keep on pushing this on me. It's like, no, I'm good. I have my daughter. Like she's
Yeah.
Yeah.
I get that. Yeah.
I don't think you need that either. I was just trying to understand the correlation between the insulin and the periods.
Oh, is it because like I know that, well, at least all of the girls that I've been around, like when they get hangry, just give them chocolate.
Oh, okay.
Okay.
Yeah.
Not everybody gets hangry though, so
I don't-
like. I
Chocolate
get
thing?
it, but yeah.
I get
Yeah,
hangry
it's not
myself. I'm irritated.
And
if
you're
I'm
like,
hungry.
I'm not even on my period and I get hangry. That's this guy right here too.
Yeah, angry all the time.
He comes back from the bathroom. Yep, what you guys said. That's
no,
all I have to say.
I was not in the bathroom.
He went to get the food.
Oh, the food. I'm sorry. I'm sorry.
You better not be using the bathroom in there.
I didn't realize where he went. I'm so sorry. My bad.
Before I got hangry.
Yeah.
Okay, so I think you said you'd like, okay, what about you?
What was the question?
What was the question? What did I ask? I asked, as a man, what is it that you would like want women to do to kind of like meet you halfway in these times of her being crazy? Just tell you like what I do?
Yeah.
Or?
I mean, yeah, it's just just communicate it, heads up. Give a
Or like,
warning.
what would you say to the men that are feeling some type of way? Like, why am my fucking woman like this?
Leave her.
Because she's a woman. Like, it's not that complicated. Yeah, like anybody that's actually tripping about it sounds like a breakdown. And like I said, it's situational. There's something else going on. Like as a man, as a hetero male or a cis male or whatever the fuck. As a dude.
We're not gonna go.
Yeah, I know. I'm like, let's not go there.
You can't be a boy and a sister at the same
We're
time.
talking about hormones
Yeah.
and science here. So a male is a male.
Yeah.
So yeah, as a regular male,
The look.
if you know that you're like into women, then you should know that like this is something you're gonna have to deal with. Like as a dude, you're probably into cars. You have to change the oil in your car. You have to change the brakes. This shit comes up. It's just part of the deal. So like, get over it.
You're right there.
Damn.
I just,
Automotive talk really does it for her.
I love it.
Like, I gotta change my oil.
Camshaft girl.
Can I
forgot.
find somebody to do that for me?
I
So it's just when you say that, it's like, okay, I feel like we as women also need to take accountability for stuff that we do.
Right.
And a lot of times we don't. So men
That was the point of this episode.
Yeah.
no, it wasn't. So
Men say stuff like that. Like it just comes with the territory.
like you you say
You're
stuff
making
like
it sound
just
really bad.
it just
Like
comes
you
with
have
the
no
territory.
life.
Like yes, we know
You're
during
just a
those
bitch.
times, right? Yes, we know during those times, you know, we can be different, but to keep it going, to constantly be this person, and then like you said, use it as a cop. Well, I had my period, so to use that is what I'm saying. We shouldn't. I think for both sides, like we said earlier, men need to understand women and women also need to understand men. And I think in society, it's always been men just needed to understand women
Right.
and just be okay with what's going on. And it should not be like that
Right.
because they also have
Thank
the
God you
same-
finished that sentence.
Mm-hmm.
I was like,
Because
what the fuck? What? Oh, okay.
Yeah.
No, I'm sorry. Go on.
Got it? Okay. So, because they also have, you know, some of the same, like, you know, hormones that we have. It's
Right.
just on different levels.
well, and they're taught to hide it, so it's there, but
Exactly.
they don't get to express it. So yeah.
Exactly. So you make it sound bad when you're like, well, you just have to,
Right.
you know, deal with it because that's what, you
It's
know.
not sounding like, oh, I understand where my woman is coming from. You're literally sounding like, yeah, I just have to fucking deal with it because that's part of the deal. And
Yeah,
it
you-
almost makes
you-
it hopeless for like a guy, you know?
I see.
Like
I see how that.
Yeah.
Right.
I
so
see
you,
how that comes off that way.
yeah.
Yeah, but in his defense, though, I would say the same thing because I would, even though I have like a semi understanding of it, to make long story short, I'm like I just deal with it. Like, but internally, I have a full understanding, but I'm not gonna explain, you know, my whole monologue to anybody that says I understand, you know, chemical imbalances and
Right.
whatnot. I'll be just like,
Right.
that's just how it is, and you just have to kind of live with it and
it's kind of like your first answer. Like
Yeah.
read a fucking book and you'll understand it,
Yeah.
right?
Right.
Yeah.
But you know, when Anthony says it, like, I just got to deal with it. He could have a full understanding of it, but he doesn't have the need to explain it to everybody.
Yeah.
You know what I mean?
even though we're on a podcast.
I mean, but yeah, like for me, like I'd be like, okay, well, that's natural. That's what you have to deal with, and you just kind of suck it up and go. It's not always going to be the same every month.
Yeah, that too.
And if somebody really gets out of pocket, then we address it then.
Right.
But you know, yeah,
Yeah, that's
it's not that bad every month.
That's kind of what I'm getting at. Is it's when I say it's something that you have to deal with, I'm saying that like because in most cases it's really not that bad, and dudes that do like bitch about it, it's kind of like get a bigger problem. You know what I mean? Because it's really not that bad, and you probably as a dude do hormonal shit that pisses your wife off,
Yeah, for sure.
and and we just don't have a period to point to.
True.
But we do have like male hormonal cycles that we don't identify by fucking bleeding for 7 days, but we're probably going through a cycle that's not as easily, in a lot of ways, men have it easier because
Yeah.
we have this fucking range and you can almost predict it and, oh, it's probably going to happen around this time. And like you see this like predictable pattern every month or every month or so. Well, with dudes, it's kind of like you have these hormonal waves.
And we
that-
don't know when
and
you're
that-
about to pop off or
and
something.
most dudes don't even know when they're going to happen, and it has a lot to do with like, is your job physical? Like, are you doing physical labor for work? Are you not doing? Are you working out? Like Vince is pretty well regulated because he works out at the same time, he eats at the same time, so like somebody like him is probably going to be more predictable, whereas like some fucking fat guy that fucking watches YouTube all day, like one of those fucking, you know, like gamer motherfuckers and shit that just like whatever, what do you call those guys? Incel? Like some incel motherfucker? Like
Incel.
they're like hormonal range is like
They got like these high Sarah Palin tosis.
yeah, it's gonna depend on like how
Yeah.
much porn they watched and how much fucking like
Yeah.
how much like kills they got in what's that game?
Call of Duty.
Call of
Call
Duty.
of
or whatever.
Duty. Yeah. So depending
This
on their
is
dopamine.
true.
Yeah.
And then
Yeah.
they don't, I feel like because we've gone through this from whatever age it started to now, we've learned how to deal with it on certain levels. And I feel like when this happens to men, they don't know how to deal with it. And their way of taking it out is way worse than what a woman would do.
Well, I mean,
honestly.
is it
in my experience.
is it worse now though? Now that everybody's like pretty much like stuck to their phone and online, Like when you have no real like human
Human
connection.
contact.
Yeah.
Yeah.
Like,
No,
like when Akra was saying about like guys, like gamers, like they spend hours in front of a computer by themselves. Then they end up in these relationships, and it's like,
Whoa. Yeah.
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 yeah,
Exactly.
I don't know shit about this. All I know is how to get the new loot from whatever dungeon I'm getting it
Yeah.
at.
Exactly.
Yeah.
And all of a sudden, I'm dealing with
Real human
like,
emotions.
like, yeah,
And shit.
I'm
yeah.
dealing with like levels of like just what I feel as though now you feel like you're targeted.
Yeah.
You know what I mean? Because you don't have the ability to understand, so now you're the victim.
Right.
She's
right.
always just yelling at me, and it's almost like, bro, it's
I actually saw this this clip of some like doctor talking about how online dating has like changed because like with online dating it makes it easier for women to be very selective of like the top 10% or whatever the fuck of
Yeah,
like,
they
attractive
only
males.
swipe what is it left or right 5% of the time.
Right, like before online dating, a lot of times there would be these organic relationships would happen, and a lot of guys that quote unquote don't have a chance would have a chance because they would be placed in an office or
And the pheromones are exchanged.
yeah,
and,
like so like they have like a fair shot, even though they're what society deems as ugly or unattractive, they would have somewhat of a chance. But now with online dating, women have like the best looking, most attractive people at their disposal. And like it also has raised the women's like generally speaking has raised women's standards to where like
standards or expectations.
standards or expectations to where they're like, well, I don't even want to fucking give that guy the time of day.
Right.
And
Right.
so now it's like a fucking like mass amount of males that have no way to fucking even have a chance to breed, which is their natural desire.
Well, then just
Yeah.
go out, go to downtown once in a while. Go to
yeah.
a club. Like
But with this whole like everything being online now, like they don't
Yeah.
know how to interact socially, so they're intimidated to go downtown. They're like da 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 da, and so like
It's just
there's
really fucked up the
there's
dating game.
But-
huh?
Dude, even
here's-
when they do
yeah.
go downtown, I see them on their phones.
Yeah.
Right.
Yeah.
But
Exactly.
even but
True.
the thing, so if you go to the women's side, they're picking from the top, but they're not really picking what's best for them.
Right.
Right.
So
Exactly.
everybody ends up with nobody,
Right.
right?
That's
And
true.
everybody just saying, everybody's just upset that they can't find a mate.
Mm-hmm.
Well, because first of all, you want a 1% man, but
Mm-hmm.
you can't offer 1% quality.
Yeah.
You know what I'm saying?
Right.
So guess what? You're single for the rest of your life.
Right.
And then you worry.
Enjoy
then-
those cats.
Yeah.
Yeah.
And you're wondering why you have 3 baby daddies. Both 2 of them are in jail somewhere. One of them is a deadbeat. Hey, those are your choices.
Those are your top 1% that looked hot online.
Yeah.
Yeah,
So
yeah,
to tie that all in, the reason that I brought that up is because it leaves a significant amount of males and females hormonally imbalanced.
Right.
Yeah.
Because the women that are looking for these 1% guys, they're not, like you said, it's not always their best choice. So it fucks off their hormones. And then there's all these guys that like, they call them like what, incels or whatever the fuck. But like, it's like, it's kind of the same thing as like, you can use that excuse, but you can't. Like there is scientific evidence that points that like the whole like incel or whatever the fuck you want to call it, like that is a phenomenon happening now. But like, just because that hormonal imbalance is existing doesn't mean that it's a fucking excuse to like
Right.
go shoot up a school or whatever.
Yeah, yeah.
Not to diverge, because you said there's a scientific study, right? So if everybody is an incel and women can't find men and men can't find women, they can't procreate.
Right.
What happens to the world's population in years to come?
Exactly.
We die. We eventually die off.
Right. Exactly.
That's what happens.
Probably not a bad thing.
No, but you know what I'm saying,
we
though.
could call the herd
Like,
a
I
little
was
bit.
kind of, I was excited when I was driving around when COVID started happening,
everybody
and there
was
was no
disappearing.
traffic.
yo,
I was like, "Yo, Thanos was right."
Yeah,
everybody was
Oh
at
my
home
God.
online dating.
Every
Yeah.
man really understood a little bit of Thanos. They were kind of like, yeah.
Yeah. I was just like when I
Just-
put
not
in
just men,
what's it called
women too.
maps,
Yeah.
and it says use the left 4 lanes to stay on the 15, and I was like, all right, and I was just like this.
In all of the
This was the
lanes,
first time. Like I only rode my motorcycle like one time, and this was during the pandemic. And I was like, I feel so safe going like 140.
You're running your
Oh
own
my God,
traffic
that's
break
crazy.
140.
Yeah, I don't know. That's the last time I looked at the speedometer, but yeah, I felt so safe.
Yeah.
I mean, I get it.
So
I mean,
in conclusion,
it was great. It was great going to work.
Yeah,
I know
it
with no
was.
traffic. I'm so mad now that it's normal traffic again. I'm like, fuck this shit. Let's do the pandemic again.
Yeah.
Okay. So in conclusion, hormones are real, guys.
Right.
I guess.
Guys, do some fucking research. Women, try to be more communicative or whatever you want to call it. And it's not men versus female. It is let's just understand each other as a whole.
Yeah.
Yes? Are we all in agreement to that?
Definitely.
All right. So if you have any thoughts, put them in the comments. Don't forget to follow everybody on this panel. We'll have the social medias in the description box below.
I have a lot of thoughts.
You're stupid.
Put it in the
And be a
comments.
man no matter
balance.
what your fucking pronouns say, fuckers.
Oh, God.
Okay.
And there's the
Anyways, don't
cancellation.
cancel us. We love you. All right. Thank you again. We'll see you guys.
On that
the
note,
next
order
one.
Mikey's meals.
Yes. 10% off. Use the Babes 10 to order your Mikey's meals.
Get your protein.
And
keep your
that's it.
hormones in balance.
And we will see you guys on the next one.
Bye.
All right. Let's eat.